Hello, this is Joe Yuhan here to show you guys my favorite ankle stretch, the belt ankle mobilization. This is the most potent tool that we have, not to stretch the calf, but to mobilize the bones of the ankle, which even under normal road running can get really stiff, but can get especially stiff with mountain trail running. And so to review the full article and all the reasons why mobilizing the joints of the foot is important, see the link below to the I Run Far article that I wrote. That's also going to have some other explanatory articles. But to review, what we want to have happen is the joints of the ankle, which is really the two bones, tibia and fibula, and the talus, need to slide and glide in one another. And so what that looks like is the tib and fib need to glide posteriorly to get that dorsiflexion that we're looking for, that all important dorsiflexion. These two bones need to glide back to get that flexion movement. But the other thing that needs to happen is in this bone here, the talus bone needs to glide back also. So what the belt is going to do is going to provide a focal force to these bones and to that bone to get them to go back that way. And so how we set this up, it's a very simple stretch, but not particularly easy logistically. The first thing that we want is we want a strong, sort of immobile belt. So this is a yoga strap. Even a regular belt like a leather belt would work. The monster bands are less good because we don't really want this to have much give in it. Then, more importantly, is we need an immovable object low to the ground. That's really important because we're putting a ton of force through this thing. And so even like a heavy piece of furniture at home, you're going to be dragging that thing across the floor. And so a heavy post, a pipe, really heavy furniture, like a really heavy bed that's on carpet, that's probably good enough. We're outside the clinic here because we need to use this post. And so what we're going to do is set this up first by just making a big loop. And we're going to make that loop about at least kind of 3 to 4 feet for comfort. Okay, on to part 2. As we talked about, for this stretch we need a yoga strap or a taut belt with a immovable object low to the ground. And so for me, this is outside my office. For a lot of you, it's going to be outside. To get a post, it could be a tree, metal bar. Just be really careful if you're doing this indoors. I've pulled a banister off of my wall before doing this. So really heavy furniture, or come on outside and do it. And so what we're going to do to set this up is I'm going to step into the belt. I'm going to lift my pants up a little bit here, and then I'm going to put the belt just underneath sort of the tongue of my shoe, and then at the level of my ankle bones. So I keep that low, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to step away, and I'm going to kind of come out here. Now, if I just do that, it's pretty good, but some people will say, oh, I'm not really feeling it. And so what we need to do is to make that a little bit tighter. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to shimmy my leg out as far as it'll go, and then I'm going to get up on my heel. And then I'm going to fulcrum over, and holy mackerel, there's the pressure. And so what we're going to do from this point is 2 different movements. And we really want to do movement for this to get the bones to slide and glide as we want them to. And so how we do that is I'm up, I've shimmied, I come over the top, and then I'm going to do 2 things. Number 1, I'm going to lunge at the hip. Both movements are going to be occurring with my heel staying flat on the ground. So that's the first one. Then, same thing, heel flat, I'm going to bend my knee. And that dynamic oscillating movement is going to get those bones to fold, slide, and glide in the efficient way. You may do 10 to 20 of each movement, switching sides, comparing before and after, and what you should feel is a significantly better dorsiflexion range. The last thing that I'll say is we want to re-educate into that range. So after I've done this, I want to stand and I want to do some active ankle dorsiflexion. I'm going to use the musculature of my lower leg to re-educate the musculature to use that new range. Front view, side view, and I'm really, in this case, I want to make sure that my big toe is doing that movement and I'm not just kind of going up like that or going up like that. So do that till fatigued to get a really good burn, and that is a really nice 1-2 punch ankle mobilization, ankle efficiency exercise.